Can you believe that we are in June 2021? Yes, we are. I don't know how it is going for you, but really, don't care so much about that. Just think about what you have. Think about the fact that you're alive today. You've got life. You're healthy. Your hands are okay. Your legs are okay. At least you're able to get out there and do something and earn something. That's what we're grateful to God about. Welcome to the review segment of our show. And it was all me yesterday, but thank God I have Joseph Akable joining me today for the review. In fact, he is, for the rest of the week, going to be part of the review segment. Otherwise, I'm going to be lonely.
Good morning, Mavi.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I hope you are doing well.
I am. Are you still in the birthday mood, or now that we've crossed May?
It's gone. I mean, it was last month, and I saw what you did on the TV.
You did?
I mean, yeah, it was very touching and amazing, and you know, I loved it. Thank you very much.
Well, you're welcome.
I mean, the message you were sharing earlier. I mean, I think it's been a lesson since the COVID-19 pandemic started. It's taught us to focus on the most important things, and the most important thing is life. Really, it gives you the opportunity to try everything else. If you don't have it, you can fail an exam and you can try again. But once you have life, you can try again and try again. Whether it's marriage, whether it's business that is not going well, every aspect of human life. And so we thank God that we are in the 6th month. He's been kind and gracious enough to lead us and protect us all through. So we are very grateful, and I'm delighted to be with you this morning. And so I have a bit of a little question for you.
Bless you, son. But remember that
this one is easy.
It is my show.
It's easy.
You are the guest.
It's your show. It's your show.
So don't question me too much.
It's very easy. It's very easy, actually. So if we have the image ready, good one. Okay. So it's a simple question. Who goes first? There's a fire engine, there's a presidential car, there's a police car, and there's an ambulance. Actually, Israel posted this on his Facebook. I gave an answer, which a lot of people agreed with. But what is your take on it? Well,
you know, do you want a Ghanaian answer or a European answer or something like that?
You can give me all the answers.
Because typically, because we're in Ghana, you said there's a presidential, there's a police, there's an ambulance, and there's a fire. Because we're in Ghana, presidential first. Yeah.
Okay, now give me the actual answer. Which one do you think should go first?
Fire.
Fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's fire.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking ambulance, but see, what if the fire was raging in the hospital?
Okay.
You need the firefighter to fight the fire before you can take a patient there. So that's why I choose fire. What did you choose?
So first, I only said that it's a complex question first. It's complex in the sense that, assuming you decide that maybe the fire should go first, what if there is a suicide bomber who is about to blow up a school that has 100+ students in it, and that's where the police guys are heading to? And so I was saying that on face value, it's a very complex question. But if you look at it in terms of just the picture, because you don't have all the other factors, then I agree with you that the fire service goes first, because fire burns fast and can easily destroy, while the person in the ambulance may be receiving medical care. No matter how urgent the situation is, paramedics are with the person, and so the ambulance goes next. Then afterwards, the police car goes. Then I added that the presidential car can remain there. But Israel drew my attention to something else that someone said about why the fire service car should go first.
Okay.
It says in some places, the fire car would have to now go and find water and put in the car. So it should go first. Some places.
I was going to add to what I had said, that in most places, firefighters are the first people that you call when there's an emergency.
Even
so
including
it's
accidents.
Actually not the police, but it's the firefighters. Whether somebody is like on top of a building and is threatening to jam, whether a building has collapsed, whether there's fire. Firefighters. But I'm not sure it's the same kind of response here. Well, in Ghana, when there is an emergency, trust that the media will be called first. So you should have media somewhere in this photo.
To bring it to the attention of the fire guys, the police guys, and the ambulance guys. Yeah. But around Israel's post, the general consensus, I didn't see anyone that suggested the presidential car should go first.
It's because they were not analyzing it the Ghanaian way.
Oh, okay.
But fact is, think about it. This is Accra. Think about these vehicles on a ceremonial streets.
Yeah.
Who will go first?
I guess I'll go with your answer.
Tomorrow we're going to put the question to our viewers, so get ready and sharpen your whether it's Ghanaian, European, or American senses. Bring another one tomorrow, okay?
We'll find another one.
All right, so we're going to go through the newspapers. I've got the Times, the Daily Guide, the Dispatch. Maybe I'll add one more paper to it, but which papers are you looking at?
I'll be looking at the Daily Graphic, the Daily Statesman, the BNFT, and the Finder.
All right. You can start with the Daily Graphic.
Yes, the front page has this story here. It's one story that I really caught my attention yesterday. Court orders Achimota School to admit Rastafarians, and has a photograph of Ras Nkrabia. He's the father of Ohineba Nkrabia, one of the students. Encroachment derails road development. Accra Kumasi lands taking over. Also on the front page has a photograph of a bit of the lines that have been encroached. Interesting country here. Like you have lines that now have structures on it, including cars and other things. The back page says, Shisha, electronic cigarettes not safe. Is from the Food and Drugs Authority. Man buries disabled children alive. Accomplice prophetess on the run. Also on the back page of the Daily Graphic. We can do the Daily Statesman as well. Then Mavi comes in. BOG reduces policy rates to 13.5%. Dreadlocks are religious rights. Court orders Achimota School to admit Rastafarian students. And 6 Chinese nationals face prosecution over galamsey, drugs, and money laundering. That story details on page 2. The back page, Zinedine Zidane left Real Madrid because the club no longer had faith in him. And Andre Ayew becomes free agent after ending Swansea City contract, also on the back page of the Daily Statesman.
Why is Swansea on the table?
They couldn't make it into the Premier League. They lost to Brentford.
So they've been relegated?
So they remain in the Championship. You know...
they were going to climb
the system is the top 2 advance into the Premier League. Then the 3rd and 4th engage in the playoff, and they played with Brentford, which has another Ghanaian, I think Tariq Fusu. Unfortunately, Andre Ayew's side lost 2 goals.
So they are where they were?
Where they were previously in the Championship. And we understand his contract. He signed his contract with Swansea.
Which is good, because at least then he can leave Swansea and go to a... Did they say first division?
Well, let's see where he'll be.
A first-class team.
I'm sure Hasselfolk, you can throw your hat.
Give us a break.
Yeah.
Just because he's arguing with me, get the...
I'm not arguing. That's unfair.
The Premier League table.
That's unfair.
The local Premier League table, okay?
This one is...
so that we can let him see it and tell the whole world who's on top of the table.
Like the teacher wants to kill the student already.
Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Front page of the Times says, after massive decongestion of Accra, guess what? Traders are back on the streets. So some people, particularly last week or 2 weeks ago, talked about how they had not appreciated the central business districts the way that they did, for once in their lifetime. They realized the beauty of the place and how the cars were flowing. But guess what? Just when the minister turned his back, no, the people are back. This is like a cycle. It's something that happens. So nearly 2 weeks after the Greater Accra Minister Henry Korte led a team to undertake a decongestion exercise in some parts of the business districts of Accra, traders and hawkers are back onto the street for business as usual. This has affected free traffic flow in most places, such as the Swansea Shopping Arcade through to Kantamanto, CMB to the Rollins Park. So this is the Ghanaian Times visiting the area and giving a account of what they saw. Hopefully we can tell you a lot more in terms of what the traders have been saying to the newspaper. Back on the front page, NIA begins nationwide issuance of Ghana cards June 7. And the Vice President has donated 300,000 Ghana cedis to Kokroko Charities Foundation for purchase of incubators. In the center spread, but before that, page 3, where they have the crime-related stories. Man arrested for alleged murder of son, accomplice prophetess on the run. So this is just the situation now As our Central Region correspondent Richard Konyanyako reported for us yesterday, the prophetess, the person who claimed that the child was a spirit child and needed to be killed as a sacrifice to the gods, has not been found yet. And then the big one, court rules against Achimota School. They must admit the student. But is that what is going to happen today, according to lawyers, according to the student themselves and their fathers? They will report to school this morning. Trust that we'll be following this issue. And of course, we have a full-blown conversation on that. Major Mahama murder case, defense counsel unhappy about witness statement. So Mr. Bernard Shaw, one of the defense counsel of the 14 persons accused of murdering Major Maxwell Mahama, has expressed worry over the manner in which his clients were being forced to provide witness statements without any legal aid. He's asked the court to look into a possible solution to the situation to ensure justice is well served. Let me take you back a bit. These accused persons are standing trial over the killing of Major Mahama, who was an officer of the 5th Infantry Battalion at Burma Camp. He was on duty at Dintrobuase in the Central Region when on May 29, 2017, some residents allegedly mistook him for an armed robber and lynched him. That's the story that was told. 11 out of the 14 alleged killers at an earlier hearing accused the police of coercing them to confess to the murder of Major Mahama. And so lawyers objected to the tendering of their caution statement, which contained the alleged confessions as evidence in their trial. The case has been adjourned to June 7. Let's do the back page of the paper now. Menstrual hygiene management plan launched in Accra is a 5-year strategic plan to promote effective menstrual hygiene in the country's schools. And it's been launched here. According to the Ghana Education Service, the guidelines are intended to create greater awareness of menstrual hygiene and support girls to better manage their menses hygienically and in a dignified manner. Do you know the kind of support to give? Are you aware of menstrual hygiene, the issues surrounding menstruation as a man?
Yeah, I have a fair idea of the issues and the challenges confronting young girls in some parts of the country who cannot even have access to the very basics that are required within those periods. And so it's a very, very worrying situation. I mean, for those who are in Accra and watching TV and from well-to-do, relatively well, you know, in fact, there are people who can't buy sanitary pads. That's just what I'm saying in different forms. And it may seem that menstrual hygiene is not really a complex issue, but outside Accra and in the hinterland, it's really a big deal. And there are students who simply stay away from school during those periods. And there are places too that there are traditional issues too that they have to contend with as well. And so it's a very complex situation, and it's good that some form of education is taking place. I mean,
you say in Accra, you'd be surprised that there are some parts of Accra.
Yeah, some parts of Accra. People within certain levels within Accra,
But there's also the other issue of some people who also go through a lot of pain during the period. There are people who would go through the entire period of their menstrual cycle having to go through pain. So it's good that men like you are aware of the situation.
Yeah, we are trying.
All right, that's it for the Ghanaian Times. Thank you, Joseph.
The front page of the BNFT. The BNFT says government's industrialization agenda still on course, is coming from the trade minister. And BOJ sweeps market with 100 basis points basis cut in policy rates. Airlines anticipate easing of COVID-19 protocols for vaccinated passengers, and tax payment goes online today. It's on the front page of the BNFT. Cadbury Former Resilience Fund supports thousands of women. On the back page, 36 firms, 5 individuals awarded, also on the back page of the BNFT. The final one for me will be that of the Finder newspaper, where 6 Chinese suspected of illegal mining and gambling operation caged, and Dr. Baumia buys 5 incubators worth 300,000 cedis for Kokroko Charities Foundation. And BOG cuts policy rates by 12.5% since 2017, from 26% to 13.5% to support business growth profitability. And GRA goes cashless from today is also on page 4. So those are the stories on the front page of the Finder newspaper.
Let's do the daily guide, or you're going to go to another page. You're done with the finder?
You finished with it.
All right, let's do the daily guide on the front page of the guide. Court sets June 22 for Jomoro MP documents. That's a Secondary High Court, which yesterday sets the date to rule on whether or not to grant an application filed by residents in the Jomoro districts of the Western region to inspect documents indicating the Member of Parliament for the area indeed renounced her Ivorian citizenship before filing to contest the 2020 parliamentary election. So initially the allegation was that she had an American and an Ivorian citizenship, but apparently she said she only had Ivorian, but renounced it before getting into the race. So we'll see how the court will rule on this matter. And then there's also another one brewing here. Birim vs. Indum, U.S. fraud fight deepens. Essentially, it says lawyers for Birim Group LLC, who have filed a writ at a court in Chicago against Dr. Papakwesi Indum, his family, and companies to retrieve lost investments of some Ghanaians, have debunked assertion by the lead defendants that their action is politically motivated. Indeed, they talk about how everything was ready, but they waited for the Christmas period to be over to serve him. And so the background of that and where the case is all captured. Achimota School ordered to admit Rasta student. Local OMCs form breakaway group. Man grabbed for burying son alive. Let's do the center spread where we have the News One Entertainment. You know about the BET Awards and the fact that the nomination this time around, the 2021 nomination, did not include any Ghanaian. Because of that, some people say that's because our music is trash, really. Now, Medical was on Hits FM, and he said Ghana music is not trash at all. It's just what the BET, the awards organizers, are looking for, and it's not really about quality. So that's what he had to say, and the paper has captured it here on the page in the center spread. Yeah. It says it goes beyond quality. They know what they're looking for. Doesn't mean that Ghana music is trash. Tarzan, I'm sure you remember him. What's his real name? Do you know the guy?
Dr. Charles Rekubobe, is he the one? Or
No, I'm talking about the actor.
The actual Tarzan. Oh,
Yes,
okay, I remember he's the guy who was taken into the forest and was taken care of by the animals. Yeah, that's the
His
character.
real name is Joe Lara, and he's 58 years old. He's feared dead, really, because there was a plane crash in Tennessee, and he's one of the 7 on board, and so he's believed to be killed. And yeah, we're praying that that's not what it is. That's, if it really is that, it will be sad. I think a lot of us grew up with him, and that's all we know. He's a Tarzan. He's the one that we remember. Okay, that's it. There are some sports stories on the back page of the paper. Sule Muntari loses mother. Oh, that's former Black Stars and Inter Milan midfielder. He's lost his mother, Hajia Kende. And then Zidane explaining his real exit. I think it was a good time for him to step aside, really.
I don't think he should have actually returned to Real Madrid in the first place. I'm not clear in my mind when he came back.
His
what has he
second
been
coming
able to achieve? I mean, sometimes you leave when the applause is loudest and you don't come back. I'm wondering why he wanted to go back there. But there's some story down there. I don't know why you're ignoring that story.
Aguero completes Barca move.
Yeah. Sergio Kun Aguero has joined the best club side on the face of the earth.
I love Barca. Oh. So I don't know what you're driving at.
We're on the same page there. We're on the same page there. The same page there.
I don't know. I mean, like, Barca na.
But you know, the Aguero story is very confusing of sorts. I mean, so when he was, he's joining Barca at the wrong time, really. When he was Aguero, like, when all the clubs were after him, he ditched all of them and went to Man City. That were not a top-tier club at that time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought he was going for money. But eventually, he turned them into a powerhouse, won trophies. He's now a Man City and EPL legend for that matter. Then at the tail end of his career, he now
32.
comes.
He's going to retire at Barca.
He now comes to play the team that many would have thought he should have actually joined earlier.
Yeah.
But he's had a fulfilling career.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that I think England has been good to him.
Yeah, very
and Manchester City has been, yeah, hopefully Barca can pick up. Me, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
You have another paper?
No, I'm done.
Okay, so let's do the Daily Dispatch. Front page, Attorney General's view. Burning of excavators will not lead to judgment debts, according to Godfrey Yeboah Dame. He's rejected claims that the distraction of excavators by the Operation Halt team in the fight against illegal mining will result in financial claims against the government. Speaking on Newsfile last Saturday, explained that mining in forest reserves and water bodies is illegal. Hence, the state cannot be ordered by the court to compensate individuals whose equipment are destroyed in the Galamsey fights. Thing is, he's the chief advisor on legal matters to the president.
Yesterday, it explains why his government is going ahead with burning of the equipment.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it came up in my administrative law studies class, and we actually posed the question to the lecturer. Because, you know, we are dealing with natural justice, and the lecturer had explained two key principles. One, the fact that you cannot be a judge in your own cause, and the second being that you have to give people fair hearing.
Yeah.
And so the question that I asked was about whether the soldiers are not being judges in their own cause, and being prosecutors in concluding that you are engaged in illegal mining, and again deciding that, okay, I'm punishing you, and the punishment is burning your equipment. Then on the other hand, are they giving the people an opportunity to respond to the allegations against them that they are engaged in illegal mining with a fair person in the middle to decide whether that is indeed happening? And I mean, the general consensus was that those principles have been thrown to the dogs. But obviously, the state's legal
That's legitimate, okay. But here's also a question that I asked, and I 100% agree with the issues that you've raised. If somebody put up a store in front of 355 Hanover Street in the road, are you going to say, let's give him fair hearing, let's apply the rules of natural justice?
And so
I mean, the kiosk is sitting in the road.
And so first, I would go over and try to find out from the person why he's built the store there. I mean, maybe he is the actual owner of the land, I don't know. Or maybe someone who actually owns this land has actually rented it out to him. So I want to give him that fair hearing to understand what is happening first.
All right.
We'll use the process to eject that person.
You know, I think often that's our problem, right? That's why we are still here.
I mean, there's the history. I mean, the history is there. I mean, in the past, when people felt that market women were unfairly inflating items of goods, they sent the soldiers to the markets to cane them. And it didn't stop the market inflation. Up to now, it's still there. So
so same principle, huh?
Not same principle, really, but the substantive issue is the fact that there should be, I believe there should be a fair hearing, and also the procedure should be one that we shouldn't have issues with. Obviously, the response has been go to court. The last time we had go to court, it was when Achimota School had decided that, look, they were not going to give someone admission because the person has refused to cut his dreadlocks.
Okay, isn't that an entirely
it's matters of human rights. It's matters of human rights.
So
fair hearing, fair hearing, like the rights to education are all fundamental.
So Babayara Sports Stadium, Babayara Sports Stadium, who owns it?
It belongs to the state under the National Sports Authority.
Okay, great. So we have a group of people, traders, who suddenly wake up and go and set up, and they say they're trading. What should we do to them? I
would want to look at the bylaws in the KMA first to decide what should happen.
Hey!
I'm not familiar with those bylaws.
We have a long way to go. Any story you want to highlight?
Yeah, I think that's Achimota story still, but the story about the encroachment too, it's really, we are told that the Accra Kumasi lands have been encroached upon, and there are a bit of road lines along the road, and so it's affecting government's development. You remember when President Akufo-Addo took over in 2017, the Roadways Development Ministry was one ministry that he set up under Joe Gatti, and this issue of encroachment has been with them all through. In fact, when you move a little from Accra, you know there's a line that moves through Circle that goes all the way to Nsawam. You know Nsawam very well, right? Do you know Nsawam?
Why are you?
I'm just asking, do you know Nsawam?
What's the emphasis?
I want to understand.
I know Nsawam,
okay,
yes.
Good. So there's a railway line that goes towards that side.
Yes.
And along it, I mean, you have a lot of people who have encroached on it, and a lot of the time they are makeshift structures, really, and some of them have been there for a while, and each time the government goes, they eject them, then they come back again. I mean,
no, so what are you recommending here?
In this particular instance,
yes,
No, what am I recommending in what sense?
Shouldn't the natural law apply here? Are you complaining that they are encroaching?
You see, this is the point, really, Mama. You are complicating the discussion.
I'm not complicating.
You're not suggesting. You're not suggesting
about people encroaching.
You're not suggesting for once. You're not suggesting for once that we should go in the dead of the night while people are sleeping in their homes along the line and demolish it and kill them simply because they've encroached.
You're so dramatic. You see what you said?
That's the
go in the night, people are sleeping.
It's the extent of the argument that we are making. I mean,
I am for rule of law. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, so don't compromise on rule of law.
No, I'm not.
Don't compromise.
But you see, you're almost frustrated talking about people encroaching real lines.
Yes, and so the question that I'll ask is...
Shouldn't we go to court
the question
and find out who owns the land?
The question I'll ask is, the ownership of the land is not in question. In fact, these individuals have no claimed ownership. And so the question really is, the rule of law is not being followed by the state actors actually, because they have the options of... There's been issues of trespass, unlawful entry, entry for wrongful purposes. All these are offenses under Act 29, Act 30 that they can take action against these individuals who are along the lines for. Have we taken action against them?
I'm sure the real company is going through the process.
No, so they should do that. I mean, they should do that.
Yeah, they are. And that's why it's taking such a long time, Joseph.
Yeah, it's fine. And you see, the amazing thing about the Achimota situation that I love so much, when I realized that the judgment was yesterday, I told someone that it's very unusual. Less than 3 months, and the court has been able to resolve.
The judge said she was going to speed up because I remember the beginning, because school is already in session, and these boys have missed out on a lot. Yeah. I remember the judge saying that
the judge is the same judge who dealt with. There was a case involving Francis Xavier Sosu versus the General Legal Counsel. When the General Legal Counsel suspended him, she's the judge who dealt with the case that asked that she takes a second look at the decision and set aside the decision of the powerful General Legal Counsel.
What's her name?
Gifty Ejayado of the High Court.
Nice.
Yeah, right. I mean, good morning to her. She's an advocate of the rule of law, clearly.
Except that yesterday we were told that court reporters were asked to get out of the courtroom.
I mean,
there was a compromise. There was only one reporter who was made to cover the story. So we were all relying on that one court reporter to get it right. So that we can get the news right. I
have my own views on that.
Okay.
I think it's
this one, rules of natural justice? Or it doesn't apply here?
No, they are okay. So you see, when you keep complicating the discussion. We can go to chapter 12 and talk about the freedoms of the media.
Let's do myjoyonline.com. Let's take you through the headline. Obviously, the Achimota School is our top headline. 2 persons feared dead in road accident at Achimota. This was also one of those incidents. There was heavy traffic on that stretch yesterday. People spent about an hour just crossing that small stretch. Apparently, a truck had knocked and killed a motor rider with a passenger and just ran off like that. It caused heavy vehicular traffic. Police hunt for ritualists who aided couple to bury their 2-year-old son alive. Lots of other stories on My Joy Online, including this one, which is intriguing. The judge who kept his wife as his inmate and threw her food across the floor.
That's false imprisonment.
Yeah. See, sometimes the people who you expect will know better. But that's just the society. We're all the same. We all behave the same. So you can have people who know the law but decide to do otherwise.
There's a story about DSP Azugu. You know Samokojo Azugu?
Yeah. He's back to the police, right?
Supposed to be back. I don't know.
Apparently there was an operation at
2 casinos in Asankregua.
Yeah.
I saw that story and I saw the men that he went with. I thought it's really very confusing. I'm very confused about this whole national security thing. I mean, the Iowa West Ogun Commission was told that the operatives don't carry arms. And on the CCTV footage, I saw, in fact, they said that the uniformed men were the ones who are allowed to carry arms. And we're told that Double, who is an operative, had actually borrowed the AK-47 of a police officer. But the videos that we saw, plainclothes men in mask, wielding AK-47, I mean, it's really confusing.
Yeah, I know I have to go. Can you put the league table on the screen? Do you have it? Can you put it on the screen? Just an introduction. So
you're now doing the sports news for Muftau.
What's the? Oh, Muftau is giving me permission to do this one.
Okay. So what is what am I supposed to pay attention to exactly?
Tell us who is on top of the table.
Okay, so I see Asante Kotoko, 27 points. There is Accra Great Olympics.
That's what you see. Muftal Nabila Abdullahi brings us sport and the real sport, not what Joseph just said. Stay with us.